Well, good morning. It is Sunday, October the 24th of 2021, and I pray that you had a great week last week and are off to another great week starting early this morning. Well, from time to time, I watch a football game on TV or some other sporting event, and almost always, whenever I watch a sporting event, there's at least one, if not several, commercials for these betting companies, these sports betting companies. Again, these commercials have become ubiquitous. They're everywhere. And almost all of them offer some type of guarantee against losing, at least on your first bet. They'll state something like, if you lose your first bet, we'll give you your money back on some type of site credit that you can use for future wagers. And so, they tout no risk betting, guaranteed no loss on your first bet. And then at the end of every commercial, and usually down at the bottom of the screen in very small print, is some type of message that says something to the effect, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call this toll-free number or go or visit this website, and we'll have people available to help you with your gambling problem. And again, these commercials are everywhere. They're on billboards, they're on TV, they're on radio. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, one day this past week, I got to thinking about not only these companies, but how most companies operate in comparison to how God operates. Again, at the bottom of these commercials in very small letters is some type of phrase that says, if you or someone you know has a problem. And again, it's in really small print. And I got to thinking, that's not how God operates. God doesn't say in any way, shape, or form in very small print, if you or someone you know has a sin problem. God simply states very clearly, everybody has a sin problem. You can turn to almost any page in the Bible and find a story where somebody is not living as God would have them live. Everybody has a sin problem. It started with Adam and Eve and continues to this day. And Jesus was the only one who lived a completely sinless life. And as Paul wrote to the saints in Rome, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And God makes that very clear. Everybody has a sin problem. So he doesn't put that in small type. Now, also on these commercials is they offer a solution if you have or someone you know has a gambling problem, but that solution is also in very small print. It's usually a toll-free number or a website, but again, in really, really small print. And I would imagine if you have an 80-inch screen TV, which I don't, but I would still imagine that it is still in very small print at the end of that commercial, the quote, solution to your gambling problem. But again, that's not how God operates. The solution to everyone's sin problem, God makes very, very clear. He makes it crystal clear that he loved us enough to send his son to die for us. And Jesus made it very, very clear that he is the solution, for I am the way. And no one comes to the Father but through me. So not only does God make it very, very clear that everybody has a sin problem, but he also makes the solution to the sin problem very, very clear as well. And so a lot of us go through life knowing that we're not living the way God would have us live, but then also turning around and saying, but I don't know what to do about it. When again, God has made the solution to the sin problem very, very clear, and that's through his son, who left heaven, came to this earth, took on the form of a man, and gave up his life there on the cross, paid the price, paid the penalty for our sins, so that God the Father could treat us as if we had never sinned. So again, that's not in small print. That's crystal clear. I heard a story once about an individual who was walking along the sidewalk and fell in a hole, fell in a deep hole, so deep that he couldn't get out. And so he started screaming and hollering for help. And a doctor stopped and looked down into the hole and said, what happened? And the guy said, well, I fell in a hole. Can you help me out? And the doctor bent down and took out a prescription pad and wrote a prescription and tore it off and dropped it down in the hole and walked on and fell down the hole looking at the prescription and goes, well, that doesn't do me any good. So he starts screaming and hollering for help again. And shortly thereafter, a priest stopped by and looked down in the hole and said, what happened? And the guy said, well, I fell in a hole. Can you help me out? And the priest knelt down and prayed. And then got up and walked on his way. And the guy in the hole goes, well, that didn't do me any good. So he starts screaming again for help. And shortly thereafter, somebody else stopped by and looked down in the hole and said, what happened? And the guy goes, I fell in a hole. Can you help me out? And the individual said, yeah, jumped down in the hole with him. And the guy in the hole went, what did you do that for? Now we're both down here. And the individual said, yeah, I know. But I've been down here before, and I know the way out. All of us have a sin problem. Some of us have availed ourselves of the solution to that problem by confessing our faith that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. And so we need to be going out and jumping in holes with other people and saying to them, yeah, I've been down in a hole before, but I know the way out. We need to be telling people about Jesus because he's the only solution to the sin problem that we all have. Well, I pray that you'll have a great week.